So let me ask you a question. Would an extra $100,000 in your bank account in the next 6 months make a difference in your life? My name is Ken Dunn, and I currently manage a $100 million real estate portfolio. Inside of that portfolio, my company is building several major resorts across Canada. We have a fleet of over a dozen short-term rental properties. We have commercial properties. And we're having a lot of fun doing it. All right, welcome everybody. It's super exciting to be here with you right now. I want to spend a bit of time with you today, and we're going to talk about the 4 steps to building a $100 million real estate portfolio. And if you're in real estate investing already, then I strongly encourage you to stick with me through this training, because I guarantee I'm going to open your eyes to something you're not doing already, and I'm going to make your journey easier. If you're brand new, if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, if you've been wanting to do this for a while, you've been thinking about a rental property, you've been thinking about ways to make more money in your life, then this training is for you. Over the last 25 years that I've been involved in real estate investing, I've learned a lot from my own mentors and coaches. And in doing so, in all this stuff that I've learned, I've realized that there are literally 4 simple steps. Now, I'm going to overly simplify this. I know this right up front. This is not simple for people that have never done this before. But the reason I call it 4 simple steps to building a $100 million portfolio is once you understand these strategies and know how to implement these strategies, you can do anything in real estate investing. But let me rewind the clock for a second, and let's just talk holistically about building a real estate portfolio and why you should do this. If you take a look at the wealthiest families in Canada, you're going to see that they have one thing in common. They all have massive real estate portfolios. And when you look carefully at how they've built these portfolios, there's one more thing they have in common. None of them have ever used their own capital to build these portfolios. Now, before I get started into teaching you the 4 steps, I also want to be completely transparent with you and tell you that I have a reason I'm doing this with you right now. My main goal in giving you this free training is to build trust with you, because I want to introduce you to the fastest growing real estate investment mastermind group in Canada. It's called the Investors Growth Syndicate. A mastermind group is a community that you can join where you'll be surrounded by hundreds of other real estate investors from right across the country. Inside of this mastermind group, you get to network with other successful real estate investors. You get to learn from those people, and you personally get my help to do real estate deals. Now, before I get into the 4 steps, I need to start at the beginning. If you're brand new to real estate investing, you've got to get into real estate investing some way. There's got to be a very specific way for you to get started. What you're going to find when you get into real estate investing, there are literally 100 different things you can do. In my company, I do 3 types of real estate investing. I'm developing major resorts across Canada. I own a network of short-term rentals in cottages and in cottage country and in the city. And finally, my favorite strategy is called house flipping. House flipping is where you buy a dilapidated old property and you buy it using other people's money. You renovate the property and force an increase in the value, and then you sell it and you keep the profit. The profit is the difference between what you paid for it and what you paid for renovations and the sale price. On an annual basis, I flip between 5 and 10 properties, and I make between $1 million and $1.5 million. Now, house flipping is not the biggest part of my real estate portfolio. Those resorts that I'm building are literally 80% of my portfolio. The reason I do house flipping is the cash flow. It puts an extra $1 million into my business every year that covers our payroll and so many of our daily operating expenses and keeps the stress off. So what you're going to learn as you go through these 4 steps with me is I'm actually giving you the 4 steps that you would use to flip properties. But the thing I want you to realize is these 4 steps, once you learn them and you succeed flipping properties, you can now use the same 4 steps to do anything. You can buy apartment buildings. You can buy resorts. You can buy commercial properties. You can buy them and hold them and rent them and make millions of dollars, all with these 4 steps, this simple gift I'm going to give you. I started in real estate investing back in 2000. At the time in my life, I had walked away from a 15-year career in law enforcement and I started a business. My personal mentor helped me to launch a mortgage company. There was one catch that he insisted on if we were going to do this business together. He insisted that if I did this, after I paid off all my debt and started living more comfortably, I had to take all of my money and invest it in real estate. It didn't take me 10 seconds to say yes to this opportunity. Now, I could spend the next 20 minutes talking about the things I've done and the money that I made, but I think it's more important for us to get right into the meat and potatoes of these 4 steps. The first step is never buy properties at retail value. Now, for the real estate investors that are actually paying attention to me right now and watching this training, I want you to listen very carefully to this because I guarantee you that you've made this mistake. I remember my first mentor. It was one of the first things that he said. He said, if you take any of my advice seriously, then take this seriously. Once you open your eyes up to the world of real estate investing, you're going to see more deals than you could have ever possibly imagined. And because there are more deals out there that any one person can deal with, then be picky. Never buy a property at retail. Listen, the whole art of real estate investing is to buy low and sell high. When you buy a property, make sure you're buying it at a discounted rate. What does that mean? What does it mean, a discounted rate? Or never buying a property at retail? Well, when most people think about buying houses, they think about MLS. They think about houses that are listed on the retail market. So when you see a listing on Realtor.com or an MLS site, you're going to see the retail price. In other words, the price they have the property listed to sell. And most people start there and they try and figure out how they can buy that property and increase the value. My mentor said to me, if you're really going to succeed in real estate investing, draw a line in the sand right up front and never buy a property at retail. So how can you find properties that you can actually buy cheaper than they're worth? There's 3 strategies. The first is actually using really good real estate agents, build relationships with them, and tell them what you're looking for. So I have 5 real estate agents that work in the local market here and feed me properties that I use in a real estate flipping business. Real estate flipping is where you buy an old property, you renovate it, and you force the appreciation, you force the increase. That difference between what you pay for the property and the money you put into renovations and the new retail value, that difference is called lift. The more lift you can get in a property, the better your deal is going to be. So when you're looking at properties, I will never buy a property unless I'm buying it cheaper than the retail price. Why? Because it's a better place to enter the deal. If you get it cheaper than what it's worth, then the lift will be higher after you do the renovation. When my mentor first told me this secret, I really had a hard time believing that that was even possible. Then he shared 2 other strategies with me that most people in real estate investing don't understand. The first is sourcing off-market deals. In the Investors Growth Syndicate, I teach people exactly how to find off-market deals. I'll tell you some examples. One of the easiest ways to find great properties to buy is go on public sales websites like Kijiji. Go to Kijiji and look in the rental listings. Watch for houses that are available for rent that have been sitting for a long time. Look through the pictures and look for properties that look dilapidated, that look like you can increase the value through doing renovations. Then contact the owners, build a relationship with them, and offer to buy the property from them. You would be surprised how many people actually do that. The third way that you can find real estate deals under value is my favorite way, and it's probably how I buy 90% of the properties that I buy. It's using wholesalers. Now, in the Investors Growth Syndicate, we have a team of wholesalers that work directly for us, and they go out and source the deals, bring them to our members to purchase, and they won't bring us a deal unless it's under value. But you can also go out and find wholesalers on your own, get on their list, and track their deals. They are constantly going out, negotiating the sale of properties directly from owners of distressed properties and bringing them to you. Okay, step 2 is how you actually acquire the properties. And this might be the hardest part for most people to understand. When I actually tell you that there are thousands of investors right across Canada, private people who have trillions of dollars in money that they will lend to you to buy these properties, renovate them, most people are going to have a hard time believing that. But you have to trust me here. This is the way real estate investing works. Now, I don't want to turn this into an entire training on fundraising because I could spend the next couple of hours talking about it. Fundraising for real estate deals in Canada is incredibly complicated if you let it be, but it doesn't have to be if you understand it. When you're doing any type of real estate deal, the thing you have to understand, whether you're buying a property to renovate it, increase the value, and sell it for a profit, or you're buying a property that you want to keep as a rental property or a major venture, the most important thing to do in the first phase of owning that property is do a full renovation and increase the value. So when we talk about funding real estate projects, funding happens in 2 phases. There's the funding you arrange in phase 1 to acquire the property and do the renovations. And then in phase 2, we do takeout financing. Takeout financing is where the property is finished, you've increased the value, then you go to an institutional lender with that higher value, and they'll refinance it and give you a new mortgage, and the money they give you, you use to pay off your first round of financing. Now, if you're doing a property flip, all you're going to do is borrow that private money to acquire the property and renovate it, and then you're going to sell it and pay back those mortgages yourself and keep the extra. Either way, I want to talk to you right now about that initial phase of fundraising that you need to acquire properties and renovate them. Most people that are savvy real estate investors, they're actually going to raise the money they need to do deals using a 3 mortgage strategy. Let me explain that 3 mortgage strategy to you. Make sure you're writing notes on this because this is incredibly important. So whenever you acquire a property, the very first thing that you want to do when you're buying the property and you get it under contract is you want to get a double-ended appraisal done. Now, for all the sophisticated real estate investors that are here watching this training with me right now, I guarantee you the term double-ended appraisal is something you probably haven't heard of before. So let me explain it. A double-ended appraisal is where you get an appraiser to do 2 appraisals at the same time. The first appraisal is called an as-is appraisal. You're going to ask the appraiser to do a review and determine what the real value of the property is right now. Now, with this as-is appraisal, you can actually determine if you're truly buying the property at a discount. So if you're looking at a property and you put an offer in at $500,000, you want your as-is appraisal to come back higher than that. Maybe slightly, 520, 530, 540, but it's still higher. If you buy a property, you get it under contract, and your appraised value comes back at the same as what you're paying or lower, walk away from the deal. It's not the right deal. Now, the second appraisal that you're going to get done at the same time is called an ARV appraisal, or after repair value. Most people don't realize that appraisers will do this at the same time. So you go to your appraiser and you say, I'm going to give you a list of all the renovations we're going to do and how much money we're going to spend on renovations. I want you to factor those renovations in and tell me what the property is going to be worth when it's finished. On all of my real estate deals, I get double-ended appraisals. So I go into the deal knowing exactly what the value is going to be when we're finished the renovations. And that leads me to the second piece of advice that my mentor gave me 25 years ago. Never get into a deal unless you know you can get out of a deal. And doing that double-ended appraisal is going to help you to make sure that you're buying the right property and you can develop a solid exit strategy. Whether you're selling the property after renovations or you're going to refinance it, get long-term financing in place so you can pay down your short-term acquisition financing. That's the whole secret to it. So people ask me all the time, why would you do 3 mortgages? It's very simple. So the way that this works is whenever I'm buying a property, I'll literally get a first mortgage up to 75% of the property value. Now, I'm getting these mortgages from private lenders. Banks won't do this type of financing, but don't worry about it. I'm going to tell you how to get access to thousands of private lenders if you join the Investors Growth Syndicate. So I'll get a first mortgage arranged up to 75%. And then once that's arranged, I'll get my mortgage broker to go to our list of 7,000 private lenders and get me the rest of the money. Let me give you a good example. Right on the screen right now, you're seeing a property that I bought 3 months ago. It's a fourplex in Whitby, Ontario, where I live. We have a mortgage broker on staff here at our company, and we let every single member of the Investors Growth Syndicate use this mortgage broker. Why is this mortgage broker so special? Because she can arrange 100% financing and all the money you need to do your renovations. So in the case of this property, I bought it for $1 million. My as-is appraisal came back at $1.1 million. We're putting $500,000 into the property, and when it's finished, it's going to be worth $2.2 million. And then once we're finished, we're going to decide, are we going to keep it and turn it into short-term rentals and refinance it? Or are we going to sell it and make $500,000? When we arranged this financing, the first thing I did is I had our mortgage broker get me a first mortgage for $750,000 at 9% interest. It's private money, so it's going to be more expensive, but you factor in your interest cost into the overall cost of the deal. Once she had that arranged, we went to our private list of investors and we got 3 investors to come together and lend us $250,000. And we got that money at 12%. So now I've got all the money I need to buy the property. Then once we had that finished, we determined that it was going to cost us $570,000 to completely renovate this fourplex and add 2 additional dwelling units into the backyard. So now we have a 6-plex. That's why the value goes up so much. In order to get the $500,000, our mortgage broker went back to our list of private lenders again and got 2 lenders to each give us $250,000 that we registered as one mortgage. That third mortgage, we were charged a 15% interest rate on that. Now, this is the most important reason why we do this with 3 different mortgages. Those 3 different mortgages are called a debt stack. And the reason you stack your debt like that is you can get a lower overall interest rate. If you think about those 3 interest rates I just told you about, the biggest loan for $750,000 is only at 9%. Then we have a loan at 12% for $250,000 and at 15% for $500,000. Well, if you add those 3 interest rates together and divide by 3, you're going to find out that our overall interest rate is 11.8%. If I went out and didn't use a strategy like this but got one big loan, the whole loan would be at 15%. So stacking the debt like that allows you to get the property cheaper. So now with all of this financing in place, we close the deal. Now, some of you that are listening to this say, yeah, Ken, but with all these interest rates at all this money you're borrowing at these high interest rates, how do you make the payments? The payments must be crazy. We borrow that money too. When we put together our renovations budget, we figure out exactly how much money we need to make the payments on the private loans the entire time we're under construction. We add that to the third mortgage, so I don't even pay the interest payments on this money. Okay, now you've acquired the property. Step 3 in this process is increasing the value. The most important word in real estate investing is lift. You have to increase the value of the property. If you want to sell it as a flip, that's your profit. If you want to go to the bank afterwards, they're going to be looking for at least a 30 to 40% difference between the retail value of the property and the money you need to cover the mortgage. Either way, never buy a property unless you can find a property that you can increase the value significantly. Inside of the Investors Growth Syndicate, we spent a lot of time with our thousands of members to determine what were the best renovations to do to increase the value. And here they are. I'm going to lay them on you right now. Number 1, you have to think about the common areas of the house where people spend the most time. The number 1 way you can increase the value in a property is the kitchen. Gut the kitchen and rebuild it. Number two, it's the entire house, flooring and walls. So you want to rip out all the old flooring, put new modern hardwood floors in the place, and make sure you repaint the whole house in neutral colors. Number three is the bathrooms. Get rid of all the linoleum, get rid of all the old tubs, use lots of tile and quartz countertops throughout the place. Number four is the exterior of the property. You know the old saying, right? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. You want to spend some serious money on landscaping. Make sure that the property looks beautiful from the curb. And number five, this is one that most people don't think of. Every renovation I do, every increase in value I do, whether I'm buying a property and selling it or I'm buying a property and keeping it, I want to think about lifestyle. I want to think about turning the property into a destination. I add a hot tub, a cold plunge, and a sauna to every property I do. If I'm selling the property, it increases the value. If I'm keeping the property, it becomes an amenity that people can enjoy. And it works every single time. Adding this mini Nordic spa concept, a hot tub, a cold plunge, and a sauna, just like you see on the screen right now, is literally the easiest way to radically increase the value in a property and really differentiate your property from everything you're competing against. All right, once you have your renovations done and you've increased your value, the last step in this process is the exit. There's two types of exits that you're going to look about. The first is where you sell the property. If you follow these strategies properly, you're going to radically increase the value of the property. If you're doing this to flip the property and make money, then I'm going to tell you that the selling process actually starts when you're acquiring the property. If you want to buy a property that you can renovate and sell quickly, make sure you're buying a property that you know is going to be in demand. What makes small houses, small properties that you're flipping, properties in demand? It's location, location, location. Make sure that these houses are located close to schools, close to transit ways, close to places where people work, in the cities where people want to be. If you follow that strategy when you're picking the property, then you're going to list the property and it's going to sell itself. If you're wanting to keep the property, that same location strategy still applies. That location is so important that it will itself affect the value of the property. And what that means is whether you're trying to buy an apartment building or a commercial property or a resort, location is everything. Make sure that the location that you're buying the real estate in is either going to help you sell it or help you rent it. And the rest will take care of itself. Well, friends, those are the 4 strategies. If you really pay attention to these strategies and you follow them to the letter, you can build any type of real estate portfolio you want, and you can build as large as a real estate portfolio as you want. When I first started, all I was focused on was flipping properties and making cash. And why shouldn't we be? If you decide to join the Investors Growth Syndicate Mastermind Group, if you're brand new to real estate investing, I am going to push you to start by flipping properties. On an average flip, my students are making between $100,000 and $200,000 from one flip. So let me ask you a question. Would an extra $100,000 in your bank account in the next 6 months make a difference in your life? Right? That's why you should start that way. I teach a lot of people how to flip properties, but the most important reason I do that is because I know how desperately people need to make more money in their lives. But I think flipping is the best way in the world for you to develop all the skills you need to do bigger real estate projects. It's where I started, and today I'm managing the construction of $30 and $40 million projects, and I'm using the same 4 simple steps to do it. Well, listen, friends, at this point in our training together, you've got a choice to make. You could literally take the training I've given you, and you could go out and start searching YouTube videos for additional training and figure this out and start down your real estate journey. But I want to make this even easier for you. This is why I launched the Investors Growth Syndicate Mastermind Group. It's a literally nationwide real estate training community that's helping thousands of new people to get started in real estate every single day. And now I want to help you. If you're really serious about succeeding and building a real estate portfolio and changing your life and doing real estate investing full time, then joining the Investors Growth Syndicate is not an option for you. You have to do it. Now, let me explain the pieces of what the Investors Growth Syndicate program is all about, and you can decide if you want to take the next step. When we put this program together, I realized that people getting started in real estate investing have different needs than people that are already successful. So leveraging my experience and the team that I've put together, we've created a community that is the best place in this country for new people to get into real estate investing. And it's also the best place for experienced real estate investors to get the help they need to scale their portfolios. There's a number of things that you get if you decide to join in the syndicate. So let me go through them together. If you join the Investors Growth Syndicate, we have an online learning portal that you're going to get lifetime access to. Inside of this online learning portal, there are a number of online courses that we've put together to make your journey in real estate really easy. The first program I want to tell you about is the Raising Money for Real Estate program. This is an online course where I've put together everything that I know about fundraising in real estate. And this Raising Money for Real Estate program, we sell for $5,000 through our call center. And it literally has everything that you would need to know to succeed. In this program, I'm going to teach you how to build a following online so real estate investors come to you wanting to lend you money. I'm going to teach you the legalities of raising money in Canada to keep you safe and keep you out of the eyes of all of the regulators. I'm going to teach you how to actually structure real estate deals so you can get all the money you need without giving away the farm. Like I said, we sell the Raising Money in Real Estate program for $5,000, but this is just the first piece of the most complete mastermind experience you're going to see in our country. The next thing I want to tell you about is all of the real estate courses that are included in your membership if you decide to join the syndicate. At the time that I recorded this video, you can see our dashboard on the screen. We have a course on how to flip properties. We have a course on how to flip condos. We have a course on how to do real estate wholesaling and source the deals yourself using digital marketing. We have a course on doing short-term rentals with cottages. I mean, think about this for a second. What do you think about the idea of buying an old cottage, using other people's money, renovating it, then refinancing it, and then renting it on Airbnb, making yourself $7,000 to $10,000 a month after expenses? So you can make $7,000 to $10,000 a month and enjoy the cottage with your family. Well, we have a whole course that's going to teach you how to do that. And as the Investors Growth Syndicate grows and more experts join, whenever I find an expert that has specific experience in a niche that we're not already covering in our members portal, we get them to build an online course to serve you. So you can get started doing flipping or doing short-term rentals or whatever you want to. You can pick the lane you want, and we have the support for you to do that. All of these individual courses I was just telling you about, we sell each of these courses for between $800 and $1,500, but they're all part of your membership. The next thing I want to tell you about is our Facebook group. As you can see on the screen, the Investors Growth Syndicate has an amazing Facebook group that we have all of our members in. Inside of this Facebook group, you can get to know our other members. If you need help with something, you can ask questions. I do live trainings in the group regularly. We have a group of 8 coaches here at the Investors Growth Syndicate that I've personally trained who are always giving value and doing teachings inside of the group. And you get to be a part of that as well. People pay me thousands of dollars just to join our Facebook groups. But again, this is all part of what you get if you join the Investors Growth Syndicate. Now, the next thing I want to tell you about is probably the biggest single reason why people are joining the syndicate. And that is my help raising money. See, I realized as I was becoming more and more experienced in real estate investing and talking to more people that the number one biggest challenge that most people have is sourcing the funds to do real estate deals. Most people have a hard time finding the right people that have money, and they have an even harder time asking those people for the money. So in order to help our members, we hired a full-time mortgage broker that works at our office in Whitby, Ontario. And we have a list of over 7,000 private lenders across Canada. So whenever you need money to do a deal, all we do is we get you to prepare a lender's package. And you're seeing the lender's package on the screen right now. Inside of a lender's package, you have a business plan, you have copies of the appraisals, the purchase agreement, your budget schedules, like everything you need to do a deal. It's all in here. So we get you to put that lender's package together. I will personally review it for you to make sure it's put together properly and all the details that we need are in there. We give that lender's package to our mortgage broker, and our mortgage broker will arrange the first, second, and third mortgage for you. Our mortgage broker can arrange deals up to $2 million in funding. If you need more than $2 million, if you're doing a big development or anything like that, then I will build you an entire fundraising system for you. Now, fundraising for large amounts of money in Canada is highly regulated. So in order to raise more than $2 million in any type of development real estate or acquisition real estate, you have to start by getting a term sheet written by an accredited securities attorney. We have a list of securities attorneys right across Canada that can build that term sheet for you. Then I'll build for you a system where you can do an online webinar to hundreds of investors who will invest in your projects. I've raised over $40 million using these systems. It's a really simple system how it works. As you see on the screen, once you have the system built, we run Facebook ads and we drive people to a webinar presentation. The webinar presentation takes about 40 minutes to do. And then once that presentation is finished, at the end of it, we invite people to book an appointment to speak to me or one of my representatives about investing in the project. I'll spend $10,000 on the ads to get people to a webinar. 500 people will show up. I'll book 100 appointments. And in an average webinar where I spend $10,000, I raise $3 to $4 million. Bottom line is, in the Investors Growth Syndicate, if you join, I will literally build that entire fundraising system for anybody who's trying to raise large amounts of money. And just so you know how important that is and how expensive that is, in my company, there have been occasions where people have hired us just to build that system, and we charge them $50,000 to do it. The next thing I want to tell you is our live weekly Zoom calls. If you join the Investors Growth Syndicate, I think you're going to love the Zoom calls that we have. We meet as a group twice a week. On Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, every Sunday night, we do a call called our mastermind call, and we literally talk about real estate together. It's an amazing learning call. And then on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we do a call called the Deal Flow Call. If you see a property that you think you'd like to buy, but you want a second opinion, you come to the Deal Flow Call, and we will give you feedback on it and confirm if it's a great property for you to purchase. If you've got a property under contract and you need to raise money and you're building a lender's package, you come to the Deal Flow Call and I'll review the package right on the call for you and make sure you've got it right. Now, even if you don't have a deal that you're doing right now, if you're brand new, come to the Deal Flow Call. This is where you're going to learn the most. You're going to see people in our community that are doing deals right now, and you're going to hear the feedback that I'm giving them to make their journey easier. Now, there's one more piece to the puzzle. All of these things you get if you join the Investors Growth Syndicate. If you're listening to me right now and you know anything about me, you know that we also run one of the largest real estate events in Canada every year. It's called the Real Estate Investors Summit. Once a year at some place in Canada, we do an event where we bring together thousands of real estate investors. We bring some of the top names in the world to the stage to teach them. Tickets to this event for a VIP ticket are normally $1,500. If you join the Investors Growth Syndicate, you literally get 2 VIP tickets for every real estate investors summit we ever do in the future. Now, let me put this all together for you. If I've succeeded in our time together today, I've proved to you that I really know what I'm talking about when it comes to real estate investing. I've also probably got you excited about joining the Investors Growth Syndicate Mastermind Group. Okay, before I let you know the price and tell you how to sign up to join the Investors Growth Syndicate, let me just review quickly what you're going to get. Let's look at the board together. If you join the Investors Growth Syndicate today, you're going to get lifetime access to our online training platform. This portal, it's password protected. Inside of it is lifetime access to my Raising Money for Real Estate online course, lifetime access to the wholesaling course, to the condo flipping course, to the Earn Profits flipping course, and all of the courses that we're going to build in the future. That just alone, that online portal, we sell for $10,000. Next, you're going to get fundraising support. And if you think about this for a second, if you do one flip and I get you all the money to do the flip, what is that worth to you? If you can make $100,000 in a flip and my mortgage broker here at the company can get you all of the money, I guarantee that. If there's ever a time that I can't get you money to do a flip, I can't get $1 million for you to buy a property, I will refund your admission into the syndicate. That's how serious we are and how good we are at doing this stuff. Now, people have asked me from time to time how much I would charge them for access to the mortgage broker and this money. And I said I wouldn't do it for less than $5,000. But I guess that means the fundraising support is worth $5,000. Next, in my other business, I run a monthly group coaching call on a Zoom call with me once a month. And I charge them $5,000 for that. If you join the syndicate, you get 2 calls every week that you get to be a part of that are easily worth $10,000. Plus, on top of that, you get lifetime access to our Facebook group and you get 2 free VIP tickets to every real estate investor summit we ever do. This is easily a package that's worth $40,000. You can join the syndicate. It's lifetime access for you, your business partner, your spouse, and your kid, because we're trying to train the next generation of real estate investors at the same time. The price to join is $14,997. Now, before you react to that price, let me explain this to you. We know that there's not a lot of people that have $14,997 sitting in a bank account or available on a credit card. So there's several options for you to join. Number 1, we have a free payment. If money's tight, you can actually get started by making 3 equal payments of $5,297. That means you'll pay $5,297 today, $5,297 in 30 days, and $5,297 30 days after that. Finally, our third option is a 7-payment program where you're going to pay $2,497 every month for 7 months. Now, if that's still not an option, here's how badly I want you to join the syndicate and how much I want to help you. We are partnering with a major bank in Canada, and we can get you a loan, a 7-year loan at 7% interest, which means you can join the Investors Growth Syndicate for $341 a month. Now, listen, I don't want you to have a loan for the next 7 years. I don't even want you to have $15,000 on your credit card. So think about it this way. If you got excited about the idea of doing a flip, think about this. Let's say you come up with the money today. You either put the money on a credit card or you take advantage of our loan and sign up for the financing. Then as soon as you join, you do a flip. So you go find a property. You use the mortgage broker to get all the money to do it. So you don't need any money to do it. And then 6 months later, you sell the property and you make $120,000 in profit. Then all you're going to do is pay off the financing or pay back your credit card. That's the secret, friends. We are the only real estate investors training community in Canada that has partnered with a major bank to allow our members to join with a bank loan that's fully open. So let's say you decide to join the syndicate and you take advantage of our loan opportunity. You're paying $341 a month. It's a fully open loan. What that means is as soon as you sell your first flip, you can pay off the loan with no penalty. Friends, if you're excited about what you've learned today and you're excited about the Investors Growth Syndicate and you want to sign up or you want to learn more, all you have to do is click on the button below this video that says book an appointment to discuss joining the syndicate. You're going to get a chance to book an appointment to talk to me directly or one of my coaches. Each one of the people that take our calls and that sign up new people are experienced real estate investors themselves. You're going to get a chance to ask questions, to find out anything that I didn't cover in this training, to learn more about the Investors Growth Syndicate, and decide if the syndicate is right for you. But on a final note, let me leave you with this comment. If the Investors Growth Syndicate wasn't right for you, you would have stopped listening 20 minutes ago. You're serious about getting into real estate investing. You're serious about succeeding, or you're serious about taking your real estate portfolio to a higher level. You might be an experienced real estate investor, but if you're not playing the game at the same level than I am, then you know you can learn a thing or two from me. Or maybe you just need me to build that system. I will not do it for anybody unless they're in the syndicate. Do yourself a favor. Don't look past this opportunity. Click on that button, book an appointment to talk to me or one of the members of my team, and let's get you into this community.